Welcome to Dear Fans. Did you see the numbers for Caitlin Clark's jersey retirement? They're absolutely mind-blowing. 1.1 million viewers tuned in to watch her big moment, and that's not even the craziest part. You might be thinking, okay, that's impressive, but what's the big deal? Well, get this, on the same day, A.A. Wilson, another huge name in women's basketball, had her jersey retired too. And guess what? Nobody even noticed. It's like Clark showed up and stole the whole show. Can you believe the difference? She's just going to this game and kind of hoping things are working, but yeah, crazy numbers, absolutely crazy numbers, and obviously destroyed AJ Wilson's jersey retirement numbers. But I think everyone kind of knew that was a guarantee to happen. Did you see what Caitlin Clark just did? She didn't just have a jersey retirement ceremony. She made a statement. And the numbers, they're absolutely mind-blowing. Let's break down exactly what made Clark's big moment, so jaw-dropping the story right here. So we know Unrival, has been not getting very good views, and many other sports haven as well. Now I find this to be pretty crazy. See, you last time Kayla Clark played basketball, I thinking she like 1 million some views. Well, I'm here to tell you even her damn jersey ceremony garnered 1 million views. You might be thinking, okay, it's just another basketball event, but hold on. This wasn't just any ceremony. We're talking about 1.1 million viewers tuning in to watch Clark's jersey go up in the rafters. Can you believe that? That's more eyeballs than some NBA games get. It's not just impressive, it's game-changing. Now the viewership speak volumes about Kayla Clark. Impact join the crowd with Iowa vs USC on February 3rd was also the second most watched game in NCAA history. That is incredible. That was the second most watched game in NCAA history. Wow, my goodness, damn. But here's where it gets really interesting. On the same day, A.A. Wilson, another huge star in women's basketball, also had her jersey retired. Now you might be wondering how many people watched that. Well, brace yourself, because the answer is almost nobody. That's right, while Clark was pulling in over 1 million viewers, Wilson's ceremony barely made a blip on the radars, but Caitlin Clark's jersey retirement was huge. It was a huge event. Yes, AJ Wilson's jersey retirement was on the exact same day, but nope, there was no question about it. 2/24/25 was CLYN Clark Day. Now you might be asking, how is that even possible? Well, it all comes down to what experts are calling the Caitlin Clark effect. People aren't just tuning in to watch her play anymore. They're showing up just to see her exist. It's like she's become this massive gravitational force in the world of basketball, pulling everyone's attention towards her. Can't even lie, but it's just great to see Caitlin Clark is still breaking down barriers, man. When it come to viewership, she was killing viewership back in the season, when the season was here, and she's steady doing it again, as well, dog. And it's not just about the numbers, it's about what these numbers mean for women's basketball as a whole. Clark isn't just winning games, she's winning the battle for viewership. She's proving that women's basketball can pull in big audiences even when there's no actual game being played. Look at the final viewings, 1.1 million average viewers. 1 million. It was only more viewed by that other game. The second most viewed game of the season was a iffy. I'm not even going to call him a good Iowa team, an iffy Iowa team, just because they were playing against, just because Caitlin Clark was in the building. Simple as that. Caitlin Clark being in the building. Clark's pulling these numbers on a regular network, not a dedicated sports channel. She's reaching beyond the typical basketball audience and grabbing the attention of casual viewers too. This isn't just a win for Clark, it's a massive victory for women's basketball as a whole. It's showing that the sport can compete with the big boys in terms of viewership. It's proving that there's a hunger out there for women's basketball content, and Clark is feeding that hunger. Now, Caitlin Clark was not playing in that game, but I think it stands to reason, one can say, without him, risking assuming too much, that more people were tuned into that game because of Caitlin Clark's jersey retirement. And according to the sports media watch, 1.1 million people, or nearly 1.1 million, was the average watch that game. But here's the real kicker. Clark did all this without even playing a game. This wasn't about her skills on the court. This was pure star power. People tuned in just to watch her jersey go up. They weren't there for the game. They were there for Caitlin Clark. Like all in all, the game itself, people were watching this game because of the Caitlin Clark jersey retirement. Because I understand, again, Juju Watkins was playing, which made it bigger, yes, but people aren't watching Juju play against good teams. No, not that many people watched Juju against Go Juju against Olivia Miles, or people watched her against a mediocre Iowa team. And in fairness, it was a good game. Fair Iowa. You might think Caitlin Clark's jersey retirement ceremony was impressive, but hold on to your seats, because we're about to dive into something even more mind-blowing. Remember when we talked about Clark's ceremony pulling in 1.1 million viewers. Well, that was just the warm-up. Now, let's talk about another jersey retirement that happened not too long ago, one that everyone thought would shatter viewership records. This article did they're saying Caitlin Clark is a bigger star than the legendary Kobe Bryant. This one, my friends, is very crazy. We're talking about Kobe Bryant, the Black Mamba himself, one of the greatest players to ever step foot on a basketball court. When the Lakers announced they were retiring Kobe's jersey, the basketball world went wild. This was supposed to be the event of the century, right? I mean, it's Kobe Bryant we're talking about. Everyone and their grandma was expected to tune in. Now it's been reported that bigger sports figure than Kobe Bryant fans react as Kayla Clark jersey retirement ratings dwarf Lakers legend. Historic night. And just like I said, man, this one right here was crazy for her to get more views to Kobe Bryant. But here's where it gets really interesting. When the numbers finally came in, people couldn't believe their eyes. Kobe's ceremony, this legendary moment in basketball history, pulled in 600,000 viewers on NBA TV. Now, 600,000 is nothing to sneeze at. That's a lot of people watching a jersey go up into the rafters. But remember Clark's number, 1.1 million. It stated fans reacted to Caitlin Clark jersey retirement game between Iowa and USC, garnering 1 million viewership on Fox. The numbers would much better than legendary Kobe Bryant jersey retirement ceremony on December 18th was going to 600,000 views on NBA TV. Can you believe what you're seeing? Caitlin Clark didn't just beat Kobe Bryant in viewership, she nearly doubled it. This isn't just a win for Clark, it's a seismic shift in the basketball landscape. We're talking about a female player outshining one of the biggest names in NBA history. It's scary. It is actually scary how much of a draw Clark is as a player. Like that for me is something that I can't really comprehend. Now you might be wondering, what does this mean for women's basketball? Well, let me tell you, it means everything. This isn't just a fluke or a one-time thing. It's part of a bigger trend that's been building up, and Clark is right at the center of it all. Let that sink in for a moment. We're not just talking about a rising star anymore. We're talking about someone who's already reached the stratosphere of basketball fame. But the rating situation is definitely caught me by surprise. I just was not expecting that, but it is what it is, man. It definitely is what it is. Caitlin Clark is the hottest thing smoking in all the sports, and I'ma keep on saying that until the hype die down. But it's not just about the numbers, it's about what those numbers represent. Experts are saying that this massive difference in viewership between Clark and Bryant ceremonies is shining a spotlight on something huge: the growing interest and investment in women's basketball. And guess who's leading the charge? That's right, Caitlin Clark. I don't think the hype's going to die out. I think Caitlin Clark is going to will this thing in for months and weeks to come. She's going to be the biggest star ever in WNBA history, probably the biggest woman athlete ever. You know what I'm saying? Saying like, she's Michael Jordan, bro. I keep telling y'all that she's Michael Jordan. They're calling her a catalyst for this change. Think about it. She's not just playing great basketball. She's changing the game itself. She's bringing in viewers who might have never given women's basketball a second glance before, and she's doing it in a way that's impossible to ignore. Yeah, it's just an all-around shock, to be honest. It's a shock seeing this. And I would say for Iowa fans, you're probably delighted. You're probably absolutely delighted. This isn't some isolated incident either. Clark's been drawing massive audiences to her games for a while now. Remember the game between Iowa and USC on her jersey retirement day? It wasn't just any old game. It was the second most watched NCAA game for the season. And let's be real, Iowa isn't exactly a basketball powerhouse. This was all about Caitlin Clark. Yeah, like it's still just a crazy overall. Just seeing the numbers, seeing everything with this, I'm seeing how many people Caitlin Clark has able to get out the games, seeing all of this stuff is, I would say, it's unbelievable. I'd say Caitlin Clark herself is still probably in a little bit of shock with this, like not really understanding what is going on with her and what's going on with this entire situation. What we're seeing here is the Caitlin Clark effect in full force. She's not just a player anymore, she's a phenomenon. People aren't just tuning in to watch her play, they're tuning in to watch her exist, to be part of the Caitlin Clark experience. This is going to be history. It's like what I told her, that's pretty epic that we get to watch her, you know, because not a lot of games here in Dallas with somebody that big of a star. Now you might be thinking, is this Caitlin Clark hype just a one-time thing? Well, let me tell you this. Remember the Iowa versus USC game on Clark's jersey retirement day? It wasn't just big, it was massive. And here's where it gets really interesting. I was not exactly a basketball powerhouse. So why did people care so much? A lot of people were saying, hey, Wilson, all I'm going to say is happy Caitlin Clark Day for all those who celebrate, because the most viewed college game in the year was South Carolina versus USC. That was a huge game. That was Peg versus Juju. Everyone was watching the seed of basketball that was such a big game was reported on my first take, and oh, you can tell when it was like these have never watched the sport of basketball before we watched women's college basketball. Because after that game, it was like, why did Juju not get the same hype as Khan? I was like, well, maybe because she's averaging less points on more shots on her team. Let's break it down. The energy in that building was electric. You could feel the excitement buzzing through the air. And it wasn't just because of the game, it was because of Caitlin Clark. Her influence was so strong that even though she wasn't on the court, people showed up in droves. Can you believe that they came just to be in the same building as her? So Caitlin Clark's jersey retirement got a lot of viewers, right? But what if I told you just the fact that Caitlin Clark was in the building for this game made it one of the most popular games in women's college basketball for the season? But here's the kicker. This isn't just happening at one game. We're seeing this Caitlin Clark effect at every Iowa game. Now attendance is skyrocketing, and not just for home games. Even when Iowa's playing away, fans are packing the stands. It's like people can't get enough of the Caitlin Clark experience. Like Caitlin Clark right now, like if fair enough, like if Steph Curry showed up somewhere, there will be more posts by Caitlin Clark showing up there. Like there are levels to fame, and the level of fame Caitlin Clark is at might be up there with the highest levels there are, if I'm being honest. Now you might be wondering what makes her so special. It's not just her skills on the court, though those are pretty incredible. It's something bigger. Caitlin Clark has become more than just a basketball player. She's a cultural phenomenon. People aren't just tuning in to watch her play anymore. They're tuning in to watch her exist. The Caitlin Clark effect continues. You know, it is really remarkable what has happened since Clark's rise at Iowa, right? You know, she plays in that national championship game against South Carolina. More than 18 million people watched that game. It was the most watched non-FUB Games sporting event of 2024, and then of course, she goes into the WNBA. The league absolutely explodes and thrives, and the beauty of it is that rising tide did lift all boats as other WNBA ratings went up, and now we continue to see big ratings in the college games. So Caitlin Clark was the catalyst, but the women's basketball wave continues to rise. Think about it. When was the last time you saw this kind of excitement around women's basketball? It's not just sports fans who are paying attention. Clark's celebrity status is drawing all kinds of people to the game. She's not just changing how people see her, she's changing how people see women's basketball as a whole. And I think the fact that she's not on social media, that she's not everywhere like she is everywhere, but like there's a big difference between someone who's putting themselves out there. And I still think it's still like a novelty to see Caitlin Clark in places where it's like, oh, if you see her at the Taylor FFT concert, oh my God, Caitlin Clark's there. Like it's still a bit of a novelty to dash with Caitlin Clark. But here's where it gets really exciting. This isn't just about one player or one team. The ratings for Clark's games, including that jersey retirement ceremony, are part of a bigger trend. Women's basketball viewership is going up across the board. It's like Clark lit a spark, and now the whole sport is catching fire. Yes, she did. So Lexi Hall, you know, is currently planning on and Stephanie White pulled up to show her some support. Talk about the love getting spread around everywhere here in Indiana. Man, Indiana, they've been showing hella love to everybody on their team, and this is what you want to see out your ball club. Man, coaches showing up supporting players in their other endeavors. So what does this mean for the future of women's basketball? Well, it's hard to say for sure, but one thing's clear: things are changing, and they're changing fast. We're not just talking about more fans in the stands or more eyes on the TV. We're talking about a shift in how people see the sport. Caitlin Clark is a nice person and plays basketball. That's what people like. Nobody cares about the other things. It's not about this weird ideology. KCL's already tried to shut up you guys. She's already tried to shut up you guys plenty of times, but like it makes no difference. It makes absolutely no difference. And that's one of the big things with Caitlin Clark, is that she's a basketball player, and people like the fact that you know she's a likable basketball player. You might be thinking Caitlin Clark's impact is just about breaking records, but it's so much bigger than that. She's literally changing the game as we know it and bringing a whole new wave of fans to women's basketball. Can you believe it? Joe Burrow, the NFL superstar, is talking about her, saying she's pulling in tons of new fans to the WNBA, and she's only going to get better. That's huge coming from a guy like him. To be known, he'll be making his way to Indiana as well to pull up on Caitlin Clark to watch game in. And this is also Kayla Clark with Alabama quarterback Helen Russell. Bro, this is crazy. Everybody was pulling up on Caitlin Clark at the Super Bowl festivities yesterday. Man, let me blow this up real here. So yeah, this is Ken. Russell, I believe he's coming from Texas, Duncanville. If I'm not mistaken, this young man is sensational. He's the future of Alabama football. But this right here, this is big-time man Caitlin Clark taking pictures, and she's the celebrity other night. You know, everybody want to see Caitlin. Everybody want a piece of Caitlin, bro. And it's not just talk, the numbers don't lie. Since Clark's championship game, which had a mind-blowing 18 million viewers, the WNBA's ratings have been skyrocketing. Now you might be wondering, what does this mean for the future of women's basketball? Well, let me tell you, it's looking brighter than ever. Clark isn't just a player, she's a game changer. Her popularity is like a magnet, drawing in people who've never even watched women's basketball before. And once they see the talent and excitement, they're hooked. It's like Clark opened the door, and now there's no closing it. Like this video and subscribe this channel. Thank you.